Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. This is Miguel with season 1 of how to combine the DC deck building sets. And this is our third deck profile for the season. In this episode we'll be covering Crisis Expansion 1. The standard play characters in this crisis include Robin, Green Arrow, Constantine, Zatanna Zatara, Swamp Thing, and Animal Man. The Impossible Mode supervillain stack includes Ra's al Ghul, Captain Cold, Deathstroke, the Joker, Sinestro, Black Manta, Darkseid, Atrocitus, Lex Luthor, Brainiac, Hades, Parallax, and Crisis Anti-Monitor. For the theme of the main deck, we're going to focus on the prominent members of the Justice League Dark. For availability, we're pulling from the original set, Heroes Unite, and Crisis Expansion 1. For consistency, the main deck will be at 120 cards with 30 heroes, villains, equipment, and 24 superpowers, with 6 locations. And now the deck profile. For heroes, at cost 2, we have doubles of Kid Flash and Katana. Kid Flash provides generic draw support, making him a strong buy in almost any deck. Katana is a standard low-cost defense that can be bought in the early game as well. At cost 3, we have doubles of High-Tech Hero, Robin, and Raven. High-Tech Hero supports both superpower and or equipment builds by increasing to 3 power if either type is played. Robin supports equipment builds by recovering an equipment from your discard pile to replay. Raven provides generic support with power and draw, making her a strong buy in almost any deck. At cost 4, we have doubles of Swamp Thing, Zatanna Zatara, Deadman, and Animal Man. Swamp Thing can help you catch up or take the lead because he can increase to 5 power if you control a location. Zatanna Zatara optimizes your deck because she can put cards into your deck instead of having them in your discard pile, giving players repeated access to key cards throughout the game. Deadman works best in the second buy round to have starters in your discard pile to choose from for his destroy effect. Animal Man provides draw support in decks with 2 or fewer card types since it becomes easier to correctly call out card types. At cost 5, we have single copies of Emerald Knight, The Fastest Man Alive, King of Atlantis, and Wonder of the Night, with doubles of John Constantine. Emerald Knight extends your turns by letting you play a non-villain or location from the lineup, though you can't buy it afterward. The Fastest Man Alive is the standard draw 2 cards with no drawbacks. King of Atlantis helps improve deck consistency by removing unwanted cards from the discard pile before they cycle back into your deck. Wonder of the Night supports equipment builds by recovering an equipment from your discard pile to replay and draws a card. John Constantine optimizes your deck because he scouts the top 2 cards of your deck, draws 1, and has the option of destroying the other one or putting it back. At cost 6, we have single copies of Blue Beetle, Warrior Princess, with doubles of Captain Atom. Blue Beetle is a great reveal to defend card because he can defend against multiple attacks that have been thrown against you in one turn. Warrior Princess is a great card throughout the game because she generates +3 power and can be played with Starbolt to activate her secondary effect of gaining a card from the lineup and putting it into your hand. Captain Atom offers flexibility by either accelerating a player's deck with a low-cost card from the lineup or providing consistent power when no card is worth gaining. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Jason Blood. Jason Blood supports villain-focused builds by recovering key villains from your discard pile. He works especially well with the Demon Etrigan, as the two can continually place each other on top of your deck for future turns. At cost 8, we have a single copy of World's Mightiest Mortal. World's Mightiest Mortal scouts the top 2 cards of the main deck to give out more buy options while providing 5 power. For villains, at cost 2, we have doubles of Two-Face and Deadshot. Two-Face is a low-cost draw card that can work best in a deck filled with even-cost cards to constantly draw a card. Deadshot is an early-game attack that can discard the top card of foes' decks, making him a strong source of early-game pressure. At cost 3, we have doubles of the Penguin, Poison Ivy, and Jervis Tetch. The Penguin can cycle through your deck quickly by drawing 2 and then discarding 2 to maximize your hand. Poison Ivy can disrupt opponents by giving weaknesses to players who discard higher cost cards, making her a strong source of early game pressure. Jervis Tetch is an early game utility card that can discard or destroy unwanted cards from the top of your deck. He can be played with Mind Control Hat to play each hero and villain from the lineup in order to maximize your turn. At cost 4, we have doubles of Clayface, Dr. Savannah, Killer Croc, Parasite, and Killer Frost. Clayface can copy effects of cards you have played alongside him as a way to maximize your turn. Dr. Savannah supports superpower builds by setting up your next draw with a superpower from your discard pile. Killer Croc supports villain builds with +3 power generation. Parasite can depower foes with his attack, exchanging a card with cost 3 or greater with a punch card from their discard pile. Killer Frost is here as an attack against locations and can draw a card if no foes discard 1. At cost 5, we have doubles of Scarecrow and Psycho Pirate. Scarecrow is a standard attack card that can dish out weakness cards to each foe in order to clog their decks with undesirable cards. Psycho Pirate provides reliable power while disrupting opponents' hands, potentially forcing them to discard multiple duplicate cards. He works best in the early game where most players still have their punch cards. At cost 6, we have doubles of Solomon Grundy. Solomon Grundy can help you catch up or take the lead because he sets up your next play by putting himself on top of your deck to optimize your next draw or turn. At cost 7, we have single copies of Bizarro, Lobo, the Demon Etrigan, and Avatar of the Rot. Bizarro supports players with a weakness-heavy deck, serving as an endgame card to turn negative VPs into positive VPs when counting victory points. Lobo is a standard destroy card that can thin out your deck out of 2 undesirable cards from either your hand and or discard pile. The Demon Etrigan supports hero-focused builds by recycling key heroes from your discard pile. He works especially well with Jason Blood, as the two can continually place each other on top of your deck for future turns. Avatar of the Rot is a straightforward attack that gives each foe 2 weaknesses, making it effective at clogging decks and slowing down opponents throughout the game. For equipment, at cost 2, we have doubles of Batmobile and Lasso of Truth. Batmobile can mulligan through your deck quickly to filter out unwanted hands. Lasso of Truth is a standard low-cost defense that can be bought in the early game as well. At cost 3, we have doubles of Nth Metal, Helmet of Fate, and Bowstaff. Nth Metal helps improve deck consistency by removing unwanted cards from the top of your deck before they go into your hand. Helmet of Fate can mulligan undesirable cards when defending, making you draw a card for each one discarded minus itself. Bowstaff provides consistent power with an additional bonus when there is a villain in the lineup. At cost 4, we have doubles of the Cape and Cowl, Green Arrow's Bow, Skeets, Soul Taker Sword, and Signature Trenchcoat. The Cape and Cowl is a standard defense card that can refill your hand by 2 when you avoid an attack. Green Arrow's Bow reduces the cost of supervillains by 2 for the turn without using the power generated, letting you buy other cards. Skeet supports hero builds as it can put heroes on top of your deck or into your hand when defending. Soul Taker Sword helps improve deck consistency by removing unwanted cards from your hand before they cycle back into your deck. Signature Trenchcoat gives players access to cards with cost 5 or less from the destroyed pile, making it useful alongside heavy destroy strategies. At cost 5, we have single copies of Green, Red, Star Sapphire, Yellow Lantern Power Ring, the Magician's Corset, with doubles of the Bat Signal. Green Lantern Power Ring is a standard defense card that can refill your hand by 2 when you avoid an attack. Red Lantern Power Ring helps improve deck consistency by removing unwanted cards from the top of your deck before they go into your hand. Star Sapphire Power Ring can draw 2 cards, especially in multi-card type decks, to reduce its chances of revealing 2 cards of the same type. Yellow Lantern Power Ring can add pressure to opponents by decreasing their hand size by 1 with its attack. Each Power Ring rewards players for collecting different Power Rings, generating more victory points as your collection grows. Magician's Corset offers flexible draw support, allowing you to help any number of players, including yourself, draw a card while generating additional power for yourself. The Bat Signal supports hero builds by recovering a hero from your discard pile to replay. At cost 6, we have doubles of Sign Cell. Sign Cell supports players with a high villain count in the endgame, serving as an additional VP for each different villain and supervillain in your deck. At cost 7, we have a single copy of Mind Control Hat. Mind Control Hat has the standard draw 2 cards plus attack that can discard a random card from each foe. It can also be played with Jervis Tetch to play all heroes and villains from the lineup in order to maximize your turn. For superpowers, at cost 2, we have doubles of Whirlwind and Flight. Whirlwind can mulligan through your deck quickly to filter out unwanted hands. Flight is a flexible defense card that can improve the quality of your next draw by placing a card from your discard pile on top of your deck. At cost 3, we have doubles of Super Speed, X-Ray Vision, and Power of the Green. Super Speed is a standard defense card that can draw a card and draw 2 cards when defending. X-Ray Vision gives a player access to the top of foes' decks in order to play a non-location card from any deck. Power of the Green is here to support locations by putting them into play and gaining power for controlling them. At cost 4, we have doubles of Bulletproof, Canary Cry, and Power of the Red. Bulletproof is a standard defense card that can draw a card and give the option to destroy a card from your discard pile. Canary Cry supports villain builds as it can put villains on top of your deck or into your hand when defending. Power of the Red provides deck filtering, letting you exchange unwanted cards for new ones, making it easier to find the cards you need. At cost 5, we have doubles of Starbolt and Magic. Starbolt works best in superpower focused strategies, increasing in power for each superpower in your discard pile. Magic offers explosive turns, letting you replay one of your strongest cards at the cost of destroying it afterward. At cost 6, we have doubles of Heat Vision. Heat Vision is a standard destroy card that can thin out your deck out of undesirable cards to not draw into them throughout the game. At cost 7, we have doubles of Shazam. Shazam can extend your turns by playing the top card of the main deck at the cost of not being able to buy it. For locations, at cost 4, we have single copies of House of Mystery and The Rot. House of Mystery rewards players who have decks built around higher cost cards by providing a consistent draw engine throughout the game. The Rot supports weakness/vulnerability focused strategies by turning otherwise undesirable cards into additional card draw. At cost 5, we have single copies of The Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, The Batcave, and Fortress of Solitude. The Watchtower, Arkham Asylum, The Batcave, and Fortress of Solitude are draw engines for their respective card type they are asking for: hero, villain, equipment, or superpower. In closing, that's one way to combine the DC deck building sets. Remember, there's no single correct way to build your main deck. These videos are here to inspire ideas and start conversations. What would you change? Would you rather have magic or superpowers? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all the YouTube things. I'll see you on the next one.